is no one on the call. There is Pablo. I am here.
Okay, start.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Adil Asif and I am a beta ML's Microsoft Learn student ambassador. So basically, we have started off this series named as Tech Talks, and in this series, we will be inviting multiple speakers to speak on different topics. So we have around 6 speakers, and today is the first day of this event. And apart from that, we have 6 different topics, starting from community building, AI, quantum computing, data science, cybersecurity, cloud computing. And this is a start of with our and we are starting off with our Microsoft Learn community Karachi as well. Unfortunately, due to some emergencies, the rest of the team is not with us. But I'll give a small introduction of them. So, as lead of Microsoft Learn community Karachi, we have Talha. Uh, and we have for promotions we have Javeria Zafar. For design team we have Shehzad. Management, I am looking into the management team, and for PR we have Solia, and our technical head is sorry, uh, Sa- Sara Majid is our technical head for the after Tech Talk. So this is this is like a trial event, and we are checking like how much is with this event, and inshallah we'll be keeping more events we have planned on. We also had a session for Hacktoberfest as well recently. You can check the video on our Facebook page. Apart from that, today's session is on community building and Imagine Cup. So for that, we have with us Pablo. He is the director of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors and director of Imagine Cup. So I would like to invite Pablo.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to this session. I'm excited to be here and excited to speak to you all about both the Learn Ambassador Program and building community, as well as the Imagine Cup. So let me share my deck here. Let me know when you can see it. And I will get started.
Yes.
1 second. Not sure why. Any issues. One more time. All right, apologies. Oh, am I sharing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you. Again, I am Pablo Vermendi. I am the Global Director of the Learn Ambassador Program, as well as the Imagine Cup, and I'm thrilled to be here to talk to you about both. But first, I want to talk to you about our mission at Microsoft. Our mission is to empower every person and every organization on this planet to achieve more. And it's really core to everything we do. It's core to the products we build, as well as the programs that we have. And for me, it's really just shown in the Learn Student Ambassador Program, as well as the Imagine Cup. Our Learn Student Ambassadors are out empowering their peers, empowering themselves, and in Imagine Cup, we're really providing a global stage for students to bring their ideas to life and then bring them to the market. So the Learn Student Ambassador Program is really about finding community. It's more important than ever, as everything goes online during this pandemic, that we have a place to build community, that we have a place to find other students that are passionate about the same things you are, where you can learn from each other, where you can build off each other, off each other's projects, and where you can share in this global community what you're doing to make an impact and empower yourself and others. We also want to amplify your impact as a student leader. We do this through social, by telling the stories of our students about the amazing things they're doing, but we also do it throughout our community. As we build this vibrant community across the globe, these students are learning new skills, they're solving real world problems, and they're just doing amazing things. It's also about building things, projects that you're passionate about. We have leagues where we have social impact leagues where you can build things to improve the planet. to make education better, to solve healthcare issues, and to help with accessibility. There's really just so much you can do in this program, and it's really all due to the community of ambassadors that we have. Really want you to connect with others in these leagues that I mentioned. We want you to kickstart your career. We have certifications that you can get when you're in the program, you have to take the test, but we give you a free voucher to do that, and you have access to experts and mentors that can help you in your journey. It's also about hosting digital events where you can offer guidance to your peers and earn that recognition that separates you from the pack when you're applying for internships or new roles. Applications are open year-round. You can apply today at studentambassadors.microsoft.com, and you can. The next cohort will be onboarded in January of next year. We're also on social. You can find us at #MSFT Student Ambassadors, and we're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. So all the amazing things that our community is doing, you can find out the stories there, as well as just find out more updates on the program. So I mentioned our community, and I can't talk about this enough. It's just amazing. We have over 3,200 students across the globe and 1,200 universities in 85 different countries. And we're very strong everywhere, but it's really impressive the amount of growth within Pakistan in the last couple of years. We've seen tremendous growth. We've seen some students such as the ones hosting this wonderful event, hosting these events and getting other students excited about the ambassador program, about skilling themselves up, and about giving back to their community by teaching them what they're passionate about when it comes to technology. We're also very focused on making it a diverse and inclusive community. So we have 31% women in the program and 69% men. And that's something that we're working hard on every day and trying to recruit more women that are interested in tech, that are passionate about tech, to be part of this amazing program and to be able to contribute to their communities and to know that anything is possible using technology. Also, we're not only looking for CS and engineering students. 33% of our community is non-CS and engineering, so all kinds of different degree programs. Essentially, what I like to tell students is that no matter what your degree is, as long as there's a technology component, you're welcomed in the program. And these days, that's everything, right? Everybody's using technology in their career, and you can learn so much in this program by joining it and by being a part of this amazing community. We also offer some amazing benefits. So all ambassadors that join get Microsoft 365 with Office and Teams. You also get access to TechSmith, Snagit, and Camtasia. And once they've taken their first learning path, they unlock the Alpha milestone, which gives them $150 in Azure credits to take what they learned on Microsoft Learn and actually experiment with it online and build new things using Azure. They also have access to Visual Studio Enterprise, which gives them access to all of our different software. LinkedIn Learning, which gives a bunch of access to soft skills that we don't necessarily have on Microsoft Learn to help you in your path to your career, your first job. Also, we give those exam vouchers, as I mentioned, for certification, because we want all of our ambassadors to leave the program with a certification in their pocket. We also give out a domain name, so you can take everything you've been experimenting with online and start building your portfolio. And then once an ambassador has hosted their first event and it's been approved by our operations team, then you get the beta milestone. At that point, you get a box of swag shipped out to you, so you can represent with a great T-shirt and a bunch of other great stuff. You get event support once we go back to in-person events after the pandemic, mentorship, and access to our global summits. And then we're looking for the top ambassadors. Hanzela is on this call. He is one of our gold ambassadors. They are constantly improving themselves, improving the program. They're out there recruiting, they're out there mentoring, and we give them access to special events like Ignite and Build, where we've had gold ambassadors actually present sessions, program leadership opportunities to help us on the operations side understand where we need to take the program next, because we want those changes to come from the community and be built from the community. We want that we have pilot programs that they can participate in, and also a mentorship with our MVP, our most valuable professional program, because the intent is that when they graduate from school, they'll be nominated into the MVP program and become MVPs and stay part of the Microsoft community. So community for me is really about empowering others. It's really an individual choice. What technology are you passionate about? Where can you build this community? people know it's visible when they can see your passion, and they want to follow you in that journey, especially if it's something they're passionate about. And so, think about what it is, that technology, what is the thing that you're passionate about, that you can bring to your community. What can you do for others? Community is about building community and helping others, and bringing them along on the path. How can you empower them? How can you empower society, your employer, your customers, or your local community? The only person that defines you is you, right? So how do you want to define that experience? How do you want others to see you? How do you want them to experience you and know who you are within this community? You're essentially, every day, whether you realize it or not, you're creating a brand. Your brand is who you are, and is how you represent yourself. And everything you do, and when you're in a community and when you're in public, reflects upon that brand. And so what do you want that to be? You define that, not others, right? You define that for yourself, and you define what others will see in you. Their perception of you is really derived from their experience with you. So, whatever they perceive of this brand, of this person, this identity of who you are, is because of their experience with you. So keep that in mind every day, right? I tell the ambassadors that, you're representing the program, of course, when you're having calls like this, but also just in everyday life, when you're at the university, when you're taking classes, when you're with your family and friends. All that is part of your brand, part of who you are, and that's what builds who you are within the community yourself. And you need to build trust and lead by example. When you're part of a community, you need to have that trust with the people within the community. I try that every day with the ambassadors, and build trust with them, and let them know that I'm here for them, and that I want them to succeed. And that's my primary role, right? That's what I am as a leader of the program. And trust and community go hand in hand. You should be the leader that you would want to have leading you, right? And Satya Nadella, for me, is a prime example of that, and he's what I aspire to be as a leader in the ambassador program and as an employee at Microsoft. Having that empathy, having that compassion, that open mindset, all that. People see that. They see that when they interact with you. They see that in what you do, and how you present yourself. So just keep all those things in mind, because through all those, you can empower others within your own community. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about my journey, so you can kind of understand about how I built my community, how I built my brand, and then how I came to be the director of the ambassador program. So a long time ago, my mom's an author, and she was writing books, and she was sending these manuscripts via mail to this publisher in the East Coast, Houghton Mifflin. And she would be rushing to the post office to ship these stacks and stacks of paper to the publisher. And one day I asked her, I'm like, why aren't you sending this over the computer? And she said, well, I don't know how to do this. This is before email. This is a long time ago, using modems. And she didn't know how to do it. And she's like, I don't think my publisher does either. And so I could show them. She's like, okay, well, let me set up the call, and let's see what we can do. And so she called the publisher, and the publisher said, yeah, we can try it if your son thinks he can help us out. And so we set up a call, and on that day, she handed over the phone to me. And I think the last thing they expected was a 12-year-old boy helping them figure out how to connect two computers via modem and send this file electronically. But I was able to show them, and they were amazed, because they had been paying all their authors lots of money to ship this paper across the country, and now they could do it digitally, and they had a digital copy of the file, which is even more important, because they could edit it directly in the file instead of having to edit the paper and then send it back. So it completely transformed the way they do work. About a week later, my mom got a call again from the same company, and they asked, or she said, what do you think of my manuscript? They're like, actually, we'd like to speak to your son, and we have another author that we'd like to get this set up for. So I ended up speaking to another author, and another one after that. And after about 4 of these experiences, I decided I needed to write the instructions down. So I had my first experience with documentation as a 12-year-old. So obviously my direct impact was with these 4 authors, one of them being my mom, and helping them transform the way they do work and the way the company does work. But my indirect impact was the entire company, right? Because now this company is doing things digitally rather than over paper and over mail or UPS or whatever. And it completely changed the way they do work. So I love that, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do more of this. I want to be able to help people with technology. So my first role out when I graduated, well, actually when I was in school, but then also when I graduated, was a systems administrator. And so here I supported a network, I supported PCs and desktops and laptops for different companies that I worked for. And my direct impact was hundreds of employees, right? And helping them out and making sure they're able to do their jobs. But the indirect impact was all the customers that the employees for the company were able to reach because they're able to do their work, right? And so this was important to me, and I started to realize now that these things, having this direct and indirect impact, were very important to me. But was tech support really what I wanted to do the rest of my life? Yes, I was empowering other people, but I wanted to do more, and I needed to find that passion. So I kind of went on a quest, right? I think we're all on this quest, you know, regardless of whether or not you identify it as a quest. But I said, you know, I need to figure out what it is I really want to do and what gives me passion and what will make it feel like, you know, I'm not working every day, that I'm actually doing something I love. And so if you were to ask somebody back then, what are my passions, because of who I am and my brand at the time, and they would say cars and computers, right? Those are the two things that Pablo loves. I was always helping people with their cars and helping with their computers, right? And so that's very much who I was. And so this opportunity presented itself to work at Roush in Detroit. And so I lived in Chicago at the time. I moved to Roush and I helped with the in-car instrumentation. All these cars have ECUs. They control the engine, they control the in-car entertainment, and they needed a device that interfaced with that. So I helped them build that out and help support those in each of these cars. And actually got to work on this car, with the Ford GT. It was amazing. I was in my mid-20s. I was driving a supercar around, and helping make this thing what it is to get it out to our customers. But I realized I loved it. It was amazing. But the impact was very low because I think Ford sold 4,000 Ford GTs, and so 4,000 people got to, and they were very expensive, right? So 4,000 rich people got to experience this car that I worked on. But I wanted to do something more impactful than just build a niche car for the few people that could afford it. And so I ended up working at a nonprofit. So I moved back to Chicago and I worked for a nonprofit called Youth Guidance. And this nonprofit actually empowered inner city students to be successful in high school and beyond. And so they were going out, they're helping these inner city school students make sure that they attended school. They would actually come up with ways to get them to school if they didn't have ways to get there, make sure they were doing their work, and made sure that they graduated by a bunch of support programs that we had. And this was amazing. I really felt a lot of passion for this because now the work I was doing, it was still IT support. I was the IT manager, so I managed all the IT infrastructure, but I was going out to the schools, I was meeting the students, and I was seeing the impact that this program had on them, and I absolutely loved it. But then again, I got the itch after I worked there for almost 6 years, and I want to do something more, right? And now I felt more like, I want to start building community. I want to start doing something where I can impact more people through community. And so one of the top places I wanted to work at was Microsoft, and so I applied for a job, and I was granted an interview. And so the interview was very intense. It was about 48 hours before the interview. They sent me a PowerPoint deck that had 36 or 40 pages or slides. And they said, okay, you're going to present this to us as if you were already in the role. And I was like, what? Hey, how am I going to do that? Like, I'm not ready for this. And so I prepared. I spent the next, each day, the 2 days I had before the interview getting ready. And they said there was only one slide I could change, and that was the About You slide. And so I want you all to take a moment and think, what would you put on that slide? If you had your dream job opportunity and you had an interview and you could only show one slide, only speak about it for 5 minutes, what would you put on that slide? And so for me, the first instinct was, let's put all my accomplishments on there, right? What have I done? What have I accomplished? But I'm like, you know what? That's on my resume. They see that already. And how does that differentiate me? If somebody else has the same accomplishments or even better, how will that differentiate me for this role? And I'm like, what is it that makes me me? What is my brand? What is it that I want them to learn about me and to know about me right off the bat? And so I looked for the slide. I couldn't find it. I have to dig a little bit harder, I think. But what I ended up doing was one slide, and it was a picture of me in overalls, which is essentially like clothes that you use to work on cars, with grease on my hands and my arms, with tools, and my car behind me, and a bunch of different pieces. But I had a big grin on my face because I was working on this project car and I got it to start. And so I swapped the engine, did all kinds of work on it, and I was thrilled, right? Because I got this thing I was building to run. And what I used as an example, I said, you know, for you as the customer, because I was role playing in this interview, I want to look under your hood. I want to see how things work. I want to make you faster, more efficient, more powerful using technology, right? I want to empower you as a company to be the best you can, just like I do that with my project cars. And so that's a story they'll remember, right? That's a differentiator. That's something like, okay, this guy, his passion, and he wants to have an impact. And it's, you know, it was something they remembered. I had no text on the slide at all. It was just that picture. So I got the role. Obviously, I'm here at Microsoft. So, and I started as a technical account manager. So I managed support contracts for NGOs, so non-governmental organizations, and nonprofits, state, local government education, and it was great. I loved it. I had 14 customers and thousands of employees. So I felt like the work I was doing there was impactful, and it was obviously much more impactful than the work I had done previously. And the indirect impact was the tens of thousands of customers, right? So each of my employees, they had thousands, if not millions, of customers, because some of them were state government, right? And so if I could empower them, then they could empower their constituents, and that was very meaningful for me. But I want to do something more. I want to do something larger and global. And so I applied for the Imagine Cup competition manager. And with that role, you know, tens of thousands of students register for the Imagine Cup every year. And this past year, at our last World Championship, we had 8.3 million global views. And so that number is staggering. And it just, to me, it was like, oh my God, this is like, the work that I'm doing at Microsoft is people, 8.3 million people across the globe are watching this, are seeing this platform that we've created for students to bring their ideas to a global stage, and then bring them to life, right? Using technology, these world-changing ideas. And we'll get more into the Imagine Cup in a moment. But, you know, again, this is community. I'm building community. I'm building this program for students across the globe, and this community for them to ideate, to create, to build, and to bring them to this competition, and, you know, super impactful. And then a couple years ago, well, now almost 2 years now, a little over a year and a half ago, there was the opportunity to take over the ambassador program. And so I snapped it up as something I really was passionate about, wanted to do, and even more building community, because with Imagine Cup, you know, I get to work with these students, the ones that decide to participate that year, but then essentially we work with them just during that time span. It's very transactional, where with the ambassadors, they're in the program for multiple years, right? So you develop relationships with them, you know who they are, you get to know them, they get to know you, I get to build that community. And so while it's lower, it's the direct impact is thousands of students. We have 3,200 in the program now. The indirect impact is exponential, right? Because as an ambassador, you're building community, you're having these workshops that then encourage more people to join the program and more people to skill up on tech. And then they want to share that passion and that knowledge with other people. And then it ends up being this explosive network of students that are passionate about what they're doing and building community. And it just, you know, it inspires me every day to see what students like the ones that are hosting this event today here are doing, and how they're building community, and how important that is, right? Because in this world today, especially during the pandemic, we're at home, and we need communities to feel that support and feel that connection. And what I love, what's changed so much in the last couple of months, is that now it's just global, right? It's no longer, you know, I'm only doing an event in my university. Now I'm doing an event online, and I have people from across the globe that are joining it. And we're crossing borders, we're spanning continents, and it's just phenomenal what I see happening in the ambassador community every day. And you know, I just love having the honor and the privilege to lead this community to do the great things that they do. So let's talk a little bit more about the Imagine Cup. As I mentioned, we launched the competitions themselves just a couple weeks ago, and really excited what we're going to be doing with the Imagine Cup. Obviously, it's all about making an impact through coding, collaboration, and competition. We want you to bring your innovative solutions to tackle global issues and bring those solutions to life. And what I'm thrilled about for this year for the Imagine Cup is that we've added some categories. So for the first time in a couple of years, we have categories. So you'll see that in the World Finals table there. We have 4 categories: Earth, Education, Health, and Lifestyle. And those are actually aligned to those social impact leagues that I mentioned with the ambassadors. And so we really want you to think about what is it that you could do with technology to improve the life on this planet. Is it climate change? Is it agriculture? What is it that you could do to have an impact? In education, all of us, it's changed for everybody. I have a daughter who just is in 1st grade, and she's taking classes online every day as a 7-year-old, right? That's totally new for everybody. And there's many challenges with that, right? And there's challenges with you at university for the first time, having to take potentially having to take events or classes remotely. So how can you help with those problems? How can you help solve them? How can we make them a better experience? How can we improve that type of experience for students across the globe? Health, there's so much that we can use technology for when it comes to health. Think about the technology that's being used today in COVID for tracking cases, for tracking the spread, for building these vaccines, and then for every other disease or sickness out there. The technology has a massive impact on that, and there's some really innovative ways that students in the past years, if you look at the past history of Imagine Cup, how they've used technology to address issues when it comes to health. And so really excited to see what we see there. And then lifestyle, it's not only about some of it is about building community and having something fun to do, whether it's a game or some new way to interact with your family and friends. There's always something else out there that we can do with technology to make life better for others, right? So really excited about that. And each of those categories has a first place, first runner-up, and second place prizing. So $10,000 for the first place for each category, $2,500 for the first runner-up, and $2,500 for the second runner-up. So we're really excited about having even more opportunities for students to win prizing this year. But also, if I can rewind a little bit, we introduced the Learn Challenge this year. And so what we wanted to do was get students started with a Learn module for each of those categories. Actually, 2 Learn modules for each of those categories. So we have 8 modules. You can pick from any one of them. So you don't have to do 8 of them. You only have to do 1, your team. And then when you submit that, we have these drawings, 5 drawings a month for a $250 prize for just completing that module and getting on to that next stage of the online semifinals. So anybody can do it. You don't have to have a team, you don't have to have your project ready for the Imagine Cup. You can register today at imaginecup.com, and you can complete that Learn module and be eligible for prizing. And in fact, I recommend that you do it as soon as possible, because the longer you wait, the less chances you have of winning, because we have so many more submissions, and we're towards the end of October, and your chances are pretty good of winning right now. So if you want to learn something about Earth, education, or health, or lifestyle, and learn how technology can be used to address those issues, please do register for Imagine Cup and complete our Learn Challenge. And of course, once we have those 4 winning teams for each category, they will vie for that world championship. So one of the teams will be selected as a winning team from the 4 categories, and they will get $75,000 and a mentoring session with our CEO, Satya Nadella. And so it's just an amazing opportunity for you to learn about technology through the Learn Challenge and how it can be used for these different categories, and then build a team and bring an idea to the table, right? A proof of concept. Remember, this is not, you don't have to have a final, an app that's ready to go into the App Store. This is a working proof of concept that we want to see about this idea that you have and that you're passionate about. And one last story I will tell here, and that has to do with the Imagine Cup. I had the honor and privilege of being asked to introduce our Imagine Cup World Champion last year to Satya Nadella for that mentoring session. And so they asked me to come to his office and essentially introduce him to the student. And I took this very seriously, because it's not often that you get to be in the room with Satya, much less have the honor of introducing him. And so it was that when I found out, I'm like, I got to do this right. It's not about me. It's about the Imagine Cup. It's about Brian, the student who won. But what do I say? This is my opportunity to say something to Satya face to face. And what is it I'm going to say? So planned it out, and then on my way into work that morning, I was repeating my 15-second thing that I was going to say over and over again. And then when I was in the room, I was kind of warming up Brian. He was a little nervous. It's not often you get to speak to the CEO of one of the largest and most successful companies in the world. So he was a little nervous. So I kind of was, getting his guard down a little bit. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw that Satya was coming in. And so as he came in, he came straight to me. He said, "Hey, Pablo, it's nice to meet you." And totally threw me off. Like, I just, the fact that I know that he read my name before he walked in. It's not like he knows who I am, but the fact that he came in and he was so genuine and warm with me, and just threw me off. So I didn't get what I wanted to say out. And I was there to help facilitate the conversation. But then at the end, I finally, got it together and told him, and I thanked him for everything he does for students, for what he does for the Imagine Cup, what he does for our ambassador programs. Without his support, these programs would not exist. And I just wanted him to know how much we appreciate it, and how much the students appreciate it. So it was amazing, and all that journey, this whole story that I just told you, like part of it got me to that moment, right? Building my brand, building who I am, building wanting to be a person that can make an impact with students, that can empower them to do more, is what got me into that room with Satya. And so I want all of you that join the ambassador program to have a story like that to tell me years from now, right? That you built this community, that you built this brand, that you became this person that got to this interview or got this job, or ended up getting this amazing promotion or whatever. All of us have that opportunity, right? All of us have that opportunity, and I just want you all, as you're building your communities, as you're building your brand, to keep that in mind, to have a goal. And my goal was not to meet Satya. My goal was to empower people, right, to do more. And then that is what essentially got me to be in that room with him. And so the other amazing part about that was just being in the room, hearing him interact with Brian, and the advice that he gave Brian as an Imagine Cup winner was just amazing. It was amazing. So it's a phenomenal prize for the Imagine Cup. So I encourage you all to join imaginecup.com, register today. And of course, for the ambassador program, you can apply anytime, studentambassadors.com. And would love to see you in the program. Want to see how you want to make an impact, how you want to empower others, and make a difference in the world today. So thank you again for having me. Thrilled to be here, and good luck for the rest of your sessions.
Thank you so much, Pablo. Here are some of the questions for you that audience is going to ask. Of course, they are wishing you like it's a great to meet Satya Nadella one-to-one. And one of them, they asked that, sir, how you can manage all the time, as you are the global program manager of MLSA and Imagine Cup. There's a lot of stuff to do. So how you manage the time actually?
It's a very good question. I sometimes am not sure how I end up managing the time for these programs, but I have a team, right? So it's not just me. While I'm the director of the programs, I have a marketing manager. I have all kinds of people to support the programs. I have I have a team of vendors, so the community program managers that are all helping with the ambassador program. They're all helping as well, right? But that being said, you have to organize it all, right? Like you have to line it all up, make sure they're all working on the right things, that work isn't getting duplicated. And the other thing is, relying on the community itself. One of the things that's been amazing to me since we put everybody on teams is how much the ambassadors themselves actually help other ambassadors. So if I go to teams, most of the time, if there's a question asked, I don't even have time to get there to answer it, or the CPMs don't have time to get there to answer it before another ambassador answers it. And that's what community is about, right? It's helping each other, and not doing it because you have to, doing it because you want to, doing it because you want to have that experience. You want others in your community to have that same experience, to have that support. And that's just been fascinating to me. And then of course, our golden ambassadors, Hanzela is one of them, they do an amazing job in helping us scale as well, because they're helping mentor their community, they're helping their community grow. And we really wouldn't be able to do this without you. I always tell the ambassadors, like, this program would not exist without what you're doing as ambassadors, right? I mean, you're getting the word out. You're the ones in the universities or online, getting the word out about the community, doing the work, and building this amazing community. So I'm very grateful for that. So thank you. But yeah, back up a little bit. It is about project management and planning your tasks. I use Microsoft Planner a great deal across all of my teams to keep track of what they're working on, keep track of the things that are coming up. There's a cool schedule view. If you've never used Planner, it's essentially a to-do, but it's, you can do different buckets and you can do a schedule view. So if you have deadlines, you can do the schedule and you can see what's coming up throughout the month. So that's an easy way for me, as the vendors that I work with, as my team are working on different projects, I can see where we are with that by looking at the schedule view, and it's a great help. And there's just Outlook, OneNote, all those things I use to plan my day, and I'm really reliant on my calendar just because I have so many meetings. So it's I block time for myself to work on things in my calendar, because if I don't, somebody will put a meeting there instead, right? So it's all about knowing what's important for you, and to get your job done, but also relying on others, being able to build that trust that I talked about earlier, and not only build that with them so that they can trust you, but you need to trust them too, right? As you're building community, you need to trust your community members to do what they're going to say, what they say they're going to do, as you build that community out.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pablo. And of course, we also inspired by you that you are with us in many sessions, and you are, of course, very strictly follow the calendar, and we really inspired with it. There is one last question, and I think it's from some MLSA from Pakistan. He is saying that in Pakistan, universities are physically opened, and we are doing physical events now. When does Subway Catering sponsorship will open?
So we're working across my team and actually with our senior leadership to try to follow the right guidance. And so I'm still working on that, and I apologize that we're a little slow, but we are trying to be intentional and have the health and safety of the students at the top of mind. And so we are working with Microsoft, with our legal team, with our global team that's working on the pandemic, to understand the impacts, to make sure that we're thoughtful about when we do this. So I don't have a date yet. I should have some more information before the end of this month as far as what we're looking at. Right now, the guidance I've been given is that we're going to follow the Microsoft policy, which is that all events will be virtual until June of 2021. But we understand that things are changing in different countries at different rates, and so and we want to support the ambassador community to have the best events they can. And so still working on it. We'll have more on that for all of you soon.
Pablo, I also have some questions for you.
Sure.
So the first question is, actually it's a very famous one that we receive when we are mentoring someone or when we are conducting our sessions. So basically students want to know, like, when they're starting anything, like if they're going to in a computer science field, and they have knowledge of something, now they want to start a community, or they want to mentor more people, or they want to interact with other students. So what they frequently ask is like, how should we start? So if you can say some words on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, as I mentioned, it's all about what is it that you're passionate about, right? It's not saying I want to build a community to build a community. It's I want to build a community because I'm passionate about something. I want to share that passion with my community. So first, I think it's about what is that thing? What is that thing that when you talk about it, people are like, wow, this guy really, he loves this. He's very passionate about it. And I want to listen to him. I want to hear more, or her, hear them more, and speak about this. And then finding others that share that passion, and starting small, right? You don't have to, your first event doesn't have to have 50 to 100 people in it. You can have 5 or 10. You're starting to build a community there, right? And you want to make sure that that it's not just you talking about yourself, but it's something that that they can learn from, right? And that they can take something away from that session, whether it be a new tech skill, or knowledge about something that they learned during that session, but you want to give them something during these sessions, right? And whether it's from you or you invite somebody else to join you, you want to give them something. The other thing, I would reach out to ambassadors that have already built communities and ask them how they did it, right? I unfortunately don't know how it works in every country. I don't know how the universities work, whether or not you can just start a club or if you need permission or a certain amount of members. It's so different across the globe that I'm not really, I don't know how to give advice on that. So it's really looking for other ambassadors. What's great about the platform now, if you go to studentambassadors.com, you can look up all the ambassadors are in the program today. You can look it up by country. You can look them up by country. You can look them up by language. You can look them up by their university. And so find those ambassadors that are near you or in your university, and talk to them and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And gets that feedback. And then I would reach out to adult mentors. So whether it be professors or other folks within the university system, as I mentioned, if you have that passion for something, find a professor or an adult that also shares that passion, and have them be a mentor ask them to be a mentor for you and helping guide you in kind of taking those next steps. And what's great about that too is that they could potentially be a guest speaker, right? They could speak at your event, or they could help you build out your community as well in that sense. So at a very simple level, start small. Don't overwhelm yourself with thinking that it has to be whatever number of people. If you can get enough people that are passionate about what you're bringing to the table and that share your passion, see your passion, then you can start building community that way. And they will tell their friends, like, oh, you got to see this. I went to the session that Adil had on artificial intelligence, and it was amazing. Can't wait to see what he does next, right? That's what you want to build, is that desire for students to want to see more, right? And want to learn more from you and from your community.
That's great. In fact, at MLC Karachi, we are also planning to host sessions for those who know something about technology and they don't know where to start, or they don't have a target audience. So we are also empowering them to come up and they can speak on those sessions, and we'll help them set up the event and provide the audience that they want.
Awesome.
My last question to you is that it is related to Imagine Cup, right? So, if someone wants to if someone is participating in Imagine Cup, but he cannot identify a problem to which he wants to create a solution, right? So, we need to create solutions and come up with solutions for certain problems, right? So, how should one identify those problems that will that sorry how should one identify the problems, and how should one decide a good solution for that problem? So this is one question that people ask.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody, right? What they're passionate about and what issues they want to solve. I mean, I would say the most impactful projects that Imagine Cup are the ones that have personal stories, right? That relate to something that they experience with, or a shared experience in their community, or in their city or their country. Nobody knows better than you the problems that you face every day, right? That your family faces, that your friends face, that your university faces, that your country faces. And so I would first look there, right? What I always ask students to try not to do is look for seek out a problem and then try to find a solution for it. Like any problem, it's find something that you're passionate about, find something that you know enough about to want to make a difference, right? And have that impact. And then once you do, you start, again, just like building community, you start small. For example, if you take Hollow, the team that won last year, they saw a need for a mental health application that students can use, right? To take away the stigma of going to a therapist or a psychologist. And so they saw this need. Unfortunately, one of the gentlemen on the team had lost a friend to suicide, and so it really impacted him. I was like, what can I do with technology? What can we do with technology to try to have an impact there? And so they started small. They started with an app that had a chatbot and would do sentiment analysis, right? So it's one thing. It was pretty simple. But they built that. It's just like a hackathon. You build that one part of it, right? And just to try to solve a small part of the problem with technology. And then as you do that, you start thinking of other things like, well, maybe I can use cognitive services to actually see the face and recognize the feelings that they're as they're in the app, and then maybe we can use that, track that in the database, and then we can track everybody who uses the app in the database. We track that over time and see how things change based on global issues like a pandemic or what have you. And so they just kept on adding onto it. They had no idea what they were trying to get to at the end. I guess my point is, don't like try to find out, like try to build up this thing in your head about what it's going to look like at the end and then build to that. Just take it one step at a time. Take the problem, figure out like what's one small thing you can do to address it, and then continue adding to that. And I think that one win that you have, like once you get that first implementation done, it'll help encourage you to keep on building it, and then bring others along your journey, right? As you're building out your team for the Imagine Cup. But I think the categories are a great way too. Like look at the categories, try the learn modules, and see like okay, well, what technologies are we showing you that you can use for those? You don't have to use them, but at least it could inspire you and thinking, oh wait, I hadn't thought about that. What if we use a chat bot for my classroom to well, when we have questions about an assignment, I don't know, whatever it could be, right? But there's technology should be a means to an end, and it should not be like, oh, I want to use cognitive services to solve a problem, right? But you don't even know what the problem is, and now you're stuck with these blinders on. You're like, okay, I can't use any other technology but cognitive services, and you're looking for a specific problem to match that technology. Like, don't do it that way. I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. I'm sure students have been done it successfully, but find a problem that you're passionate about, that you know enough about, that you want to make an impact with, or a team member, right, or somebody else. It doesn't, the Imagine Cup is about building a team, and it may be somebody else that has the idea, and then you're just going to help them implement. But I would take it one step at a time. Think of it as a hackathon, and figure out what is that one piece that you can build out successfully as a team, and then just keep on building on that. I think you can go a long way in building a project if you take it one step at a time.
Okay, that's great hearing from you, and it's also an honor for me that came here for our session as the director of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. And when I was in fact talking about this session with my friends, so they were also excited to know more about Imagine Cup and what Student Ambassador is and what we actually do at the community. So I hope that many people have learned about it, and I also have certain friends that who are also confused with it. And I hope that we have answered all the questions that most students have had over here. Pablo, would you like to just summarize the whole thing and just say some last words before we end?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for organizing this. Thank you for all that attended and for your questions. And it's it's an honor for me to be here. All of this, like my entire story was one step at a time too, right? I think it can be sometimes overwhelming to think like, oh, how do I get to be a director at Microsoft? Don't think that. Think about what is your next step forward, right? Whether it's building that community and doing that one step at a time, the Imagine Cup and doing that one step at a time, or even your career, and don't give up. There's so many people that I know that have applied to Microsoft multiple times before they got in, or applied to internships multiple times. It doesn't mean that you're not a good fit for the company or not a good fit for that role, the internship. What it means is that it's not that your time yet, right? That you're not that there's probably something else that you could do in the future even better. So just be patient, keep on building up who you are, keep on skilling up. Join the Master Program if you hadn't applied today, and we'd love to see all your projects at the Imagine Cup.
Okay, that's great. So now we are just moving towards the end, and now I will be sharing my journey as well as the student ambassador. Before I start my journey, I would like gold student ambassador Hanzala Maksud to come forward and share his journey.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Pablo. Thank you so much. Hello, thank you, Pablo, for joining us, and of course, Adil, for the invitation. And really, we are doing a great for in as a Microsoft Student Ambassadors Pakistan in grooming the communities, in the field of technology as well, and of course socially as well. And like if I share some of my journey, like as a student ambassador, when I was selected in 2018 in September. I was selected in September 18. So till now, and as a goal, I feel a great difference between the beginning and of course at the ending. Like it's the last stage of the as a student ambassador towards goal. Now I am getting a great opportunities, speaking engagements, opportunities to mentor the students, opportunities to in the pilot projects, in mentoring, in speaking engagements. Of course, they are inviting me in some of the sessions, in talks. It is a great inspiring for each and every ambassador to do all the things. Like I says you that I was the speaker on 2019. I was selected in EMEA to attend the summit in Amsterdam. But there, well, I have attended the Microsoft Ignite as well. So the time journey of 19 to 20, like I was attending Microsoft Ignite, and now in 2020 I was invited as a speaker to speak about the technologies. Like I was delivering a session on machine learning using Python, introduction to machine learning using Python. So the journey from 1 year, like from attendee to I have come to as a speaker at Microsoft Ignite on the same conference. Of course, it is a global conference of Microsoft. Other opportunities of you get like in mentoring HackTex. The hackathon is going on in University of Texas in Austin. It is going on, and we are mentoring the students in their projects. And of course, the students from University of Texas, they are really inspiring. And we are there I'm there as a gold student ambassador, and some of the Microsoft employees are there to guide all the students on those projects in the hackathon. Of course, these are all the opportunities that as a student ambassador, and then of course as your level up goes up, you get a new opportunities from like you get the opportunity to speak, like to mentor the students. Of course, these are all the things that depends to polish your skills, to groom your skills. And this is what we want. And now coming, students should also take part in the competitions and those hackathons very potentially. Imagine Cup is going on, is registration page of Microsoft Pakistan. Imagine Cup Pakistan will be landed by next week, so we will also share it with you all, so that you can all register your projects, and of course you have to submit those projects to the in the Imagine Cup. And you will compete with the international students. Firstly, there will be the phases like first national level. There are two stages: regional finals and then national finals. After that, the winning teams will go for the world regional finals, and then there will be the world final. So these are the all the competitions that you have to compete with other students, all other peers that are moving towards technology and moving projects. So this is all we want from the students, to take part in such kind of activities, to take part in hackathons. Of course, to learn all at the end, the point of the thing is to learn the technology, because this is that makes your life easier. This is the future in every field, in each and every field, like in the medical, in you can in the medical, in business, in every field. You see there's the resources that are using those things digitally. So where there's the things of digital, then there's the things of technology. So you have to use that, and you have to learn how to implement all the things. This is all the things that they want in the Imagine Cup projects, and Imagine Cup projects, and in the hackathons. One of the thing I can announce that Imagine Cup page will be announced for Pakistan by the next week, and of course we will share it. And we are also planning some of the competitions to organize in Pakistan and at a national level. And of course the Karachi Microsoft Learn community is doing a great job. Like they have taken this initiative of Tech Talks to weekly done each and every session. This is a great initiative, like to inspire the students by international speakers. Like of course there can be international or national speakers, like Pablo. He's the global program manager who has joined us today. Of course the same like the speakers, they will, I hope they will bring it for other sessions to in the next time, and of course they will inspire you all, and they will teach you all. Thank you, Adil, and thank you, Pablo, for invitation, and of course Adil for the invitation, and Pablo for joining us.
Thank you, Anzula, for coming in the session. So now I would like to share my journey as well, as I'll not take much time. Okay, so for me, I was selected around in April when all this coronavirus was at its peak. And whatever my experience with Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors has been virtually, we haven't had any on-campus events due to the coronavirus SOPs as well. So as soon as the things lighten up, we will be having our local events in Karachi as well. So yeah, what I have learned throughout my journey is that first of all, I had a chance to interact with a lot of global and Microsoft Learn student ambassadors around the world. They were amazing. I had an interesting time talking to them, learning from them. In fact, I had also learned a lot of things from Hanzala as well in this when I started my journey, because I was also unaware about what student ambassadors is. What I'd suggest you all those who are willing to apply or have a plan to apply for Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors is that uh, you if you don't have knowledge about certain topics, like if you are worried that when we join Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors we will have to carry out sessions, uh, it's not that case always. It's up to you if you want to carry out sessions or you want to learn. There are a lot of there are a lot of benefits that are given to student ambassadors where we can learn things from, and after you know that you have learned a lot of things or you have a particular skill, then you can teach those skills. For me, I have started my journey towards data science and artificial intelligence. So I am just a starter right now, right? But I have done multiple events where I have invited a lot of speakers where, in fact, not only I learned through those sessions, but I had an amazing response from the attendees as well who were attending my sessions since the start. And they were asking like for me when is the next session, or we had a lot of suggestions as well about what sessions we want to continue with. So I have had a lot of response for artificial intelligence, data science, cloud computing as well. So what this Tech Talks, the idea of Tech Talks is that we will be carrying, this is a trial event. We'll be starting off with certain topics and then we'll be going into deeper fields of Tech Talks. Like, for example, we have an event on AI right now. Then once we have an event on AI right now, we will be further having a deep dive into AI. We will be having a specific session, a specific event for AI where we'll be only talking about AI and teaching how to start with AI and what is the progress of AI. Plus, like what is the learning path that you should take in AI, and we might also teach launch a program where you will in fact assign a teacher who will teach you AI, about AI, different fields of AI, machine learning and deep learning. We might also do that depending on the response. So we have started off as this community, and this was our very first session, and tomorrow we have our session of Junaid Iqbal on using Azure services with machine learning. Junaid Iqbal is the president of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors Club, University of Lahore, and he is the founder of AI School of University of Lahore as well. I have had a previous session with Junaid Iqbal, and we had an amazing response. Uh, the attendees like the event. We will what the agenda of this event is. We will be having a small introduction about what how machine learning works on Azure. Then we'll be going towards a hands-on session. And for the first time in our events, we are going to have a live quiz. Uh, the quiz will be like whatever you have learned within the session, you will be answering those questions as well. You will be answering questions related to that, and the top people, the top 3 or top 4 people, depending on the number of people who attempt the quiz. We will be giving out e-certificates to only those who have won the competition, the top 3 or top 4, right? Depending on the speaker. So this was our event. Yeah, I just missed my journey, so I'll just go with it. So okay, so what I have learned through my MLSA journey is I have gained confidence. First of all, when I used to reach out to people, I was scared of reaching out. Like, as what response would I get from the people, I'm reaching out to? Will they answer me correctly or not? Or will I get proper response? Or won't they think that I'm asking like very basic questions with them? But I had a great response with talking them. I had learned a lot of things, like there I have like asked same question to the same person 3 times, and the guy has answered to me 3 times as well. So this is how basic question these are how basic questions I have asked, and the response I have received from them, right? So the confidence level that I used to have has increased. The way I used to look at problems have changed. In fact, I'm now participating in multiple hackathons. I have also got an opportunity to mentor at an hackathon that will be in November. So yeah, these are all the opportunities that you get as a student ambassador, and this helps you in your growth as a student, or as a s- or growth in your skill, and you learn different things while you interact with different people, right? So this was my journey summed up with in 2 words. That is gain confidence, reaching out to people. Yeah, that's all. And inshallah, I'll be also learning more as we go on with our events, and I interact with all of the attendees, all of the people who are viewing our sessions, and moreover, we also, as we said in the session, if anyone wants to speak and doesn't have a target audience, they can either contact us through our MLC Karachi page, or they can either contact me on Facebook or LinkedIn. My name is Adil Asif, or you can directly contact Hanzala Maksud. He will inform me, and we'll create an event for you where you can talk about your sessions or talk about your expertise that you have and teach people. So yeah, that was it. At the end, I would like to congratulate the gold ambassadors that were selected this year from Pakistan. They Arsalan Khatak, Tashik Moin from Karachi, and Momina Dar, she's from Peshawar Fast University. Arsalan is from Islamabad. So I congratulate all of them, and special congratulations to Tashik, as he's a gold ambassador from Karachi. We will be inviting him as well in future sessions. Okay, that's all from my side. Hanzala, would you like to say anything before we end?
There's a question for you
Yeah.
that what's the time of tomorrow's session?
What's the time of the session? Tomorrow's session, yeah, sorry. Tomorrow's session is the same time, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. What we have done is this time we are targeting weekends, so that no one's university timing is affected, and we are targeting a time at where most of the people are free and they can attend the session in their free time. We will also be uploading our lectures on our page, and inshallah, if we are having also discussions that would we want to like move our sessions to YouTube, like live events, or directly place it over there. Those who have registered for Tech Talks, they will be receiving an email tomorrow for the events link. You will receive the link by 12 p.m. You will receive the link by 12 p.m. inshallah, and that will be a meeting. So you can ask questions directly with by opening your mic, and you can directly interact with the course trainer. Any more questions?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so thank you all those who have attended this event and will be seeing the recording later on. And I hope to meet you all if you in real life as well, and interact with you all and have a one-to-one conversation as well. Thank you.